Hi everyone, my name is Mark Deere, and in this video I wanted to talk about another thing that's been on my list for ages, which is beginner's mind, or I guess looking in any situation or trying hard to always come back to being a beginner. It's funny, I think the idea of this originally came from like Buddhism, maybe before that. I'm not in any way versed in Buddhism, but I definitely have heard about it in that context a number of times, which is always coming back to beginner's mind, always act like you're doing it for the first time. And I think this really applies to creativity. Like I said, it's been on my list for quite a long time. And the reason it's something that, especially in my video where I talked about being an amateur versus being a professional, I think I'm talking to that same thing, which is instead of trying to act like you're perfect and the best, trying to be open and curious and like a beginner. And I think there's no better person to learn beginner's mind from than kids. I love working with my kids and seeing them working on things, seeing them drawing, seeing them making comics. My daughter's been crocheting a lot lately. Like, seeing them working on things, they don't think, they just do it because they're a beginner and they're not worried like, oh, this needs to be perfect. Oh, this needs to be whatever. Or, oh, if I knew blah, 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 I could use blah, blah, blah. They're not thinking like that. They're just making things. They're just doing. They're not even worried about the fact that what they're doing is creative. They're not giving it a label. They just sit down and they just get into it. It's amazing. And as an adult, and especially as you become more of an expert at things, like obviously on these videos, I've been doing a lot of thinking out loud about things I'm not that knowledgeable about. It's interesting, like that this is where my YouTube 100 days have gone. And I guess because I'm working on Confessions of a Failed Filmmaker, you grapple with that idea. It's like, what is a failed filmmaker? And I'll do a whole dedicated video about that later. But, you know, it's like you get better at something. And as you become more of an expert, you experiment less. And you get less curious just because. And you look at this, you see, you know, filmmakers, if we want to talk about film, sorry, I'm so itchy. There's so many mosquitoes in this dense area. I've been being bitten the whole time I've been making videos today. But of course I have. So filmmakers, as they go on further in their career, a lot of filmmakers seem to kind of just start doing the same thing over and over. And you look at their work and you're like, oh yeah, this is by them, same as everything else they did. And it kind of gets old. Like when they start, it's fresh. And then as they refine what they're doing, it becomes, their voice emerges, but it becomes less based in curiosity and them experimenting and more the same. Though I don't think that applies to everybody. I look at someone like Woody Allen, who every single movie he made, he tried to do something new. Like he tried to challenge himself. Though you look at any Woody Allen movie and you're like, this is a Woody Allen movie, or trying to be a Woody Allen movie, because there's certainly things that recur in his films, recurring themes. But when he tries to do a different genre, or when he tries to do a different setting, or when he tries to do some different camera technique or whatever, you know, I think he was always trying to push himself while making films. I'm saying was, but I think he's still making films. I know that he had his issues, which his biography is amazing. I highly recommend Woody Allen's biography, phenomenal, apropos of nothing it's called. But you know, he's not making films in America right now. He's made a couple in Europe recently. But anyway, other filmmakers as well. The more you know, the more you kind of go, well, this is what I like. This is how I do things. But intentionally trying to go back to, if I was a beginner, being a beginner, how would I do this? What would I do? If I know nothing, what would I do? And I think that way of thinking is so much more creative, so much more engaging. And so for me, going into 2026, I'm going to try to approach the whole year with beginner's mind, like a beginner. Like I'm doing everything for the first time. And there are things I have expertise in, of course, which I can help with. But everything, even when I talk about things I'm an expert at, I'm going to try and approach my explanations of those from a place of beginner's mind. That's the goal. And so, yeah, it's something really interesting to me and something I definitely want to look more into to kind of understand, I guess, the research behind it and why it's a good thing. But to me, just looking at my kids working and seeing that they are just so prolific, they crank so much stuff out with not a thought. They'll work on something and then, you know, it can go in the bin because there'll be more tomorrow, there'll be more later. Like there's unlimited amount of creativity. There's no room for writer's block when the things you can produce are unlimited. And they're not thinking like that, they're just doing. That's what they do. And so, yeah, I love watching my kids work and I want to try and have that approach, a child's mind approach to my work in 2026. And maybe it's something you can experiment with as well, especially if you're feeling stale or stuck creatively and you want to expand into something else. I think approaching it from beginner's mind is a great way to open up your curiosity and let new things in, let new stimulus in. Okay, that's it for that idea. I'm glad I always see it in my list, I finally spoke about it. And yeah, it's definitely something that I think about and I'm excited about doing in the new year. So thank Thanks so much for watching today, guys. Thank you to everyone who's recently subscribed. I've gotten a bunch of new subscribers lately. It's been great. And thanks to everyone who's been watching my videos. I'll upload them within a few minutes. There's people watching them. I always think, oh my goodness, people are watching my videos straight away. Thanks to everyone who likes the videos, which is always amazing seeing that people are liking them. And especially thank you to everyone who comments. I really appreciate those. In the new year, once I've done my 100 videos, I'll still be working on the documentary, but I'll probably be less frequently uploading videos. So if you want to follow what I'm doing, I'm going to send out a weekly newsletter next year. So you can go to markdeary.com to sign up for my email newsletter. But that's it. Thanks everyone. I hope you have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.